Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Sorry, the camera is a little bit dark. Today we're going to be going over the newly released GPT-5 Codex, which Sam Altman is saying is essentially the greatest thing since ChatGPT has been released, at least in buzz-wise. So we're going to be taking a look at it. I was using it yesterday on stream, but yeah, the camera's a little bit dark, and the reason that it is because right now it's 5:30 a.m. My time. And, something that I just want to say is that in order to make progress in life, it is my understanding that you have to discipline yourself enough to be able to wake up early, to be up before everybody else, to be working early in the morning, to make sure that each day actually means something. And I think that for each day to mean something, sometimes what that means is getting up earlier than everybody else. Because, let's say that somebody wakes up at 7 a.m., I've already been up for hours. And they wake up at 7, I've already been up for hours, I've already had a day, I've already made progress. And, that's just something that I believe in. So I wanted to share that with you guys, that it is currently 5:30 a.m. So sorry that the camera and the lighting in here is a little bit dim. It's completely dark outside, but that's how we're doing it. But yeah, so let's take a look. Yesterday, it was day 32 on the stream, and what we were working on is we were working on View Creator, and we were working on some of our agentic process. So for those of you that don't know, we have a series on the Bridge Mind channel where we're vibe coding an app until I make $1 million. Right now, we're on day 32. Current revenue is at $51, and we've made several different products. And this product that we're working on now has more potential than any other product that we've worked on, and we're getting very close to launching it. So we're going to be working on a feature for this project today using the newly released GPT-5 Codex. So let's take a look at the project View Creator. I'm going to click, let's just sign in, and I'll show you guys my account. So here is what my account looks like. As you guys can see, you just have a nice dashboard. You have templates, agents, credits used. You can create templates. What templates are, they are essentially, they give you the ability to drop in social media content that you want to replicate, and it's able to reverse engineer specific social media content. So let's say down here, if you want to replicate this content, all I had to do was go over here and click AI Creator, and I dropped in reference image, and I clicked Create Professional Prompt. It took a look at the images, and then it reverse engineered the images. And so now here is what I have. I have some templates here, but for example, let's just generate one image here. So I can show you guys how this works, and then we're going to get into an actual feature, because what we want to do is we want to create a product that allows here. So here's what came back. So rise above, thrive today. So if you were a social media creator or content creator, you'd be able to essentially create content at scale. Like, let's say that I just posted these on Instagram every day, and my channel was associated with, motivational content. Then instead of having to edit using Canva or any other editing tools, I could just mass produce content at scale using this tool. So right now we're projecting a release sometime in September. But we do need a couple more MVP features, but we are very, very close to launching. So we also have an agentic feature, and the agentic feature, you essentially create an agent, and the agents have steps. So I'm just going to click edit here and show you guys what it looks like. So you give your agent instructions, and then each step has its own instructions. So the purpose of step 1 is to create a description. The purpose of step 2 is to follow the description that was created or create respective content. And then you pass in reference images. And this here is one of the main features that we're working on right now. And this is what we worked on stream. I'm going to just click run for 45 credits. But the biggest issue that we have right now is that this feature does not work great. We have a couple things missing. We have a couple things that we need to do. But for example, it created this here, and then it created another. So you guys can see that this feature is not yet polished up. We have a lot of work to do with this feature, essentially. So we're not going to work on this in this video, but I just wanted to show it to you guys of, hey, this is an idea that we're trying to get working. It still needs some work. We may launch this just with a beta, kind of like a beta tag, like, hey, this agentic system is in beta. Let us know your feedback. Let us know what you'd like it to do, and other things like that. But that's another feature that we're working on. But with that being said, let's take a look at Codex. And I just want to show you guys how to actually get Codex launched on your computer, how to download it, and get it started. So first of all, you can run Codex in different places. So first of all, you can run it in your terminal. So here, I'm actually CD'd into View Creator. So I'm at the parent directory of the project. And all you have to do is just run Codex. And so you can then say, allow Codex to work on this folder without asking for approval, require approval of edits and commands. So I'm going to require approval, but you can see the model that I'm using is GPT-5 Codex High, which is the model that was released, I think it was on September 15th. So on Monday this week, they released essentially this model that is in Codex now that is a better coding model. So they say that it's great. I was using it a little bit yesterday. So another place that you can use Codex is over here in the in actually Cursor or VS Code or wherever your code editor is. So you guys can see here, if I expand this, what you see is, hey, here is Codex. So this actually isn't my Cursor agent. This is Cursor. So they have it here. And you can see I have Claude Code, I have Codex, and then I have Tracer. And so all you have to do is you have this, essentially you have this main tasks. I was using it a little bit yesterday on stream. So I ran these 2 tasks yesterday. And then let's just do a new chat. And let's do new. Or actually, I think once a new, yeah, this is it. So in your new chat, and then you have the access to be able to chat or plan. Then you have agent, and then you have agent full access. In chat or plan, obviously, it's going to be essentially the chat functionality similar to what chat would or ask would be in Cursor. And then you have agent, and then you have agent full access. And then you have a couple model selections. So they offer you, it's all GPT-5. You have the option for GPT-5 Codex Low, Medium, and High. And then you have the option for GPT-5 Low, Medium, and High as well. But this is not with Codex. But you know what it says here, if you just hover, so answers right away, thinks quickly, and then thinks longer for better answers. So something on stream that I learned just to note is that if you use GPT-5 Codex High, it took 30 minutes to do a single prompt. It was a complicated feature, but it did take quite a while to do that. But I will say, if you're cost conscious, Codex seems like it's a very good cost benefit. Because I'm just using my ChatGPT Pro plan, and it's $20, and apparently a couple subscribers were telling me that you don't hit your rate limits a lot. So definitely something that it would be smart to use if you're cost conscious. So with that being said, I want to use GPT-5 Codex Low initially because I want it to start working immediately. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use WhisperFlow, and I'm going to say, take a look at the app layout in the dashboard, and I want you to add a new link that is essentially a drop-down link that holds multiple links inside of it. The base link should be called Platform Tools, and inside of this, there should be essentially the major social media platforms as subdirectories. So for example, YouTube, X, Instagram. And you should actually include the font icon that is associated with that platform. Take a look at the footer in the project to see which icons I used. But in the app layout sidebar, I want you to create this new link with its drop downs and subdirectories with each platform listed, so that users can essentially, if they're working on a specific platform, be able to access platform specific tools. So I decided, while I was doing some thinking, is that, can you do, oh wow. So something to note is that it's very similar. I will say that the UI of Codex seems to me to be much better than the UI of Cursor. So obviously, something that we were thinking about yesterday on stream is that Cursor is worth it's valued at 9.9 billion. So just in terms of, when you're thinking about the companies that are creating these tools, something that's important to remember is that these companies are valued they're valued at different amounts, and they have different levels of resources. So for example, when you think about using or approaching a tool like Cursor or approaching a tool like Codex, you need to remember that these tools have different levels of potential, because Cursor, they're worth 9.9 billion, and then OpenAI is worth some estimates right now. The last funding round valued them at 300 billion, but estimates now project them to be worth like 500 billion. So if you guys think about that, 500 billion compared to 9.9 billion. So you're looking at two different tools, and you have to think to yourself, hey, one company has a tool, and that company has significant resources, and this other company also has a great tool, but it has a 30th of the resources that OpenAI has. So just something that I think about, but definitely Codex is something that I'm going to start using more. But yet let's use it to create, I want essentially a new link in here that's going to have platform-specific tools. So obviously I just prompted it with Whisper Flow. You guys know what it's trying to do. But even with what it's doing now, we're on GPT-5 Codex Low, and it is working. But I will say that it is a little bit slow. It's a little bit slow, which is okay. But if this was Cursor, it probably would be done already. If I'm being, honest, it would probably be done. So that's one thing to note. And it's also something that I have found with Claude Code as well, is that when comparing Claude Code and Cursor, you just find that Cursor is very, very fast. And it honestly makes me a little bit suspicious, because why is the lowest GPT-5 Codex model so much slower than the GPT-5 High Max model that I'm using over in Cursor? Is it because they have actually a better agentic system, or is it possible that they're cutting corners on some things that we actually don't really know about yet? And that's just one thing that I'll mention, is that it is a little bit interesting that it's so much slower. But that being said, I mean, Cursor is a very, very good tool, but I would consider switching over. If Codex, if it does perform, I would consider switching over. So let's see here. So it's using Lucid React to put icons. So it didn't really understand what I was trying to say. So if we go over to roots, you can see, so it created a new root, platform tools, and then for each of the platforms, YouTube, X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, it looks like we have roots for all that. So that does look good. Platform-specific tools, that looks good. I like that. Maybe we can add Google to this, because something that we created recently on stream is we created the ability for us to create SEO packed blogs, because something that's always very important is that when you're launching a new domain, a new website, a new company, it's very important that you actually target SEO and understand what SEO is for that. So let's see the task. So it's on its last task. It finished. So it finished working. So how long did that take? If you go back, you can actually see. So it's 4 minutes to do that prompt, which is on the high side. It did not install the package that we needed it to install. Can it run terminal commands? Let's test it out. Review the error and please install the missing package. Also, for the dropdown, it should include the icons next to each platform's name on the left. So it kind of missed that that we were trying to do, is that what we wanted is first of all, we did not want it to give icons for each link. So it kind of hallucinated a bit and it misunderstood me that I wanted icons on all the links, and it didn't understand that I just wanted icons for the platform tools. And then it ended up not even including icons for the platform tools. So just something to note. Here what we're testing is Yeah. Okay, there we go. Okay, so it was just missing the wrench tool. Actually, okay, so I misunderstood. It was just missing this wrench. I don't like how the margin here is so off to the left or to the right. Oh, can we not drop in images? Let's see. Okay, wow. What about if I click add context? Oh, add image. Okay. So adding images is a little bit different. You can't drag and drop, which is a little bit annoying. But let's add this one. And then let's add the picture of the full layout sidebar. Add that as well. Oh man, yeah, that is a little bit annoying. I'll get used to it though. But yeah, let's drop that in. Here we go. All right, so now I'm gonna say, take a look at the margin on that wrench in the platform tools text. As you can see, it's like centered. It needs to be the same exact as the other links. I will say that using GPT-5 Codex Low is much more appropriate than what we were using yesterday on stream, because we were using a feature and we were using GPT-5 Codex High, and it was very, very slow. I mean, I had a simple feature, and simple features were taking like 10 minutes to do. So, that can be, you can make an argument that the reason that it's slower is that it's taking more time to think, which is okay. The question is, are you really able to one-shot everything? And as you guys can see, some of the issues here, like just with this margin, aren't great. This is great. I do like this. It was able to create the roots. But now I'm going to ask, it created 3. So that just the tasks are interesting. So for this single task, it said inspect platform tools button layout to match icon spacing with other navigation items, adjust styling to align wrench icon with other sidebar icons, and confirm no additional changes required. So that is, cursor would just go in and it would just update it immediately. It would go in and very quickly it would see the problem, it would update it, we would already be done, right? But right now, it's still thinking, it's still on task 1 of 3, and I do find that interesting. But okay, here we go. It did fix it. Okay, that's nice. All right, that's good. All right, it is one-shotting, so looks good. So now what we want to do, now what I need you to do is to actually create the platform tools directory and to then create the pages for each of these new routes. The pages should essentially have lists of tools for users to use that are platform specific. So take a look at this and build the pages for each. So this may take a while to do because it's going to do a lot of planning. Yeah, that's the issue, is that it may take a while. I don't want this video to get too long, but right now, we're just doing some testing. But you guys can see that, hey, that looks pretty good. Platform tools, I like it. Doesn't have hover effects, but so it'll be able to do this. Okay. So right now, what I think about when we're talking about a new tool like Codex is, these tools are going to get increasingly better. And something to remember is that as these tools get better, you're going to have to adapt. And I'll just use an example, is that I used to, and most vibe coders used to have a ChatGPT window open, and they had to have their code base open. And they would have it maybe on 2 monitors, or they would have it, side by side. And that's the way that I used to vibe code, is that I would literally go in and I would create files and I would paste them into ChatGPT, and I would essentially copy paste and then get the response and then do what it wanted me to do, copy paste, install any packages. And it was essentially more like using an AI assistant than using an AI agent. And what's happened in the past year, and less than that, I think that Cursor released their agentic functionality less than 6 months ago. Let's look it up. When did Cursor release their agent? Okay, so November 24. So I guess it was a little bit longer than 6 months. But less than a year. So less than a year ago, we were given, one of the best features for basically the new way of programming, which was this agentic. You're using chats or you're using agents inside of your code base that can actually update the code for you. So that's relatively new. And then what a lot of people are using is they are using tools like Claude Code. And Claude Code wasn't released that long ago. When did Claude Code get released? Let's see that. So Claude Code, February 24th. So that's like what, 7 months ago? Not even. Less than 7 months ago. And that was big. A lot of people use Claude Code. And the point that I'm making with this is that the tools are going to change. The tools are going to adapt. And we need to adapt along with them, because these companies are spending so much money that they are coming out with tools that are going to increasingly get more powerful, more useful, and have less requirement for the end user to actually program themselves or plan themselves. And that's why I personally am all in on vibe coding, because I've seen the trajectory of this. I've seen the trajectory in the changes that happened when the agentic functionality came out. And that was such a big deal that, it changed my outlook on things, because, I'm like, hey, when these better models come out, and then along with the better models, there's better tools, it's just going to keep doing this to the point where a couple years from now, we're going to be using tools that we couldn't have even fathomed. But right now, I'm not going to lie, guys. Codex is doing a really good job. Probably better than Cursor would, to be honest. It's just creating the UI looks good. So let's actually go in here now and try a full stack feature. So something that we want to do is we want to build the logic to be able to. There's a couple different things. So it did create good tools. So I wanted to do a thumbnail. We can try with a thumbnail. The video is 22 minutes long already, so we'll have to wrap up with this last test. But I want the last test to be a good one. So let's think about it. I want to do a thumbnail generator. So let's think about this. With a thumbnail generator, there will need to be some sort of history, like job history. You're going to need to integrate the credits. So users do have credits, and how your build is that you buy credits, and then instead of billing you outright for each job, you're credited out of the account. Your credits you pay credits for each thing. So let's do a YouTube thumbnail generator. So right now, thumbnail copy assistant. That's not what I want. On the YouTube tools page, please add in at the very top a thumbnail generator. After you create this link, I then want you to actually create the UI for it. The organization of the platform tool directory needs to be a little bit different. Really what it should look like is there should be the platform tools directory, and then inside of this directory there needs to be subdirectories: YouTube, X, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And then inside of those directories we're going to add things like a tools directory, and then inside of the tools directory there will be actual tools. So for example, this thumbnail generator should be located at dashboard, platform, tools, YouTube /tools /YouTube -generator. So I just told it where I wanted it. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully understood. But we need to create the page for it, and then we're going to create the actual functionality to create a YouTube thumbnail. And something that's important about YouTube thumbnails is that it needs to have, it needs to actually be 16:9 aspect ratio, which is the most important thing. And then it needs to be able to, there's a lot of, there are a lot of platforms out there. One platform that I use to do this, it's actually not great. So for example, it's a platform called vidIQ, and it's a great service. I think like if we look up what is vidIQ revenue, so 5 to 10, 15 million annually. So there is a ton of demand in the market. This one says vidIQ's estimated annual revenue is 18.5 million a year, which is just crazy. The estimated revenue per employee is 140,000. Wow. So how many employees do they actually have? 132 employees. And something I'll say is that, they have a tool over there for creating thumbnails, and it's a decent tool, but it's not that great. It's okay, but for example, I don't use a lot of the thumbnails over there because it's just not quite there yet. And something when we're creating View Creator that has been something that we've been, talking along the way, is that the reason that this is such a great space to be in is because there's essentially a threshold where the cost of AI content generation, meaning like images and video, is going down and the quality is going up. So what's happening is the inflection point, in my opinion, has not been reached yet because the cost is still too high, but it's coming down. And the other reason it hasn't reached that inflection point is because the quality is too low. But in another year, that is going to change. The costs are going to come down, and the costs are going to come down, and the quality is going to go up. Let's see what it did here. For our pages, what we wanted was the dashboard, platform tools, and then inside of platform tools, yeah, that's perfect. So it's going to create the index directory, which is great. So let's see. And then what we'll want to do is we'll actually want to delete the old ones. It's doing exactly what we want to need to do. So I will say, guys, it is one-shotting, which is amazing. Let's try launching the tool. Not yet. YouTube thumbnail generator. So it did exactly what we wanted. Perfect. Yeah, it's perfect. Okay, so I hope that it changes the page as well. Yeah, planning YouTube thumbnail generator page. So guys, I will say I'm very impressed. After using GPT-5 Codex Low, the speed and quality trade-off is actually pretty good. I would say that for the GPT-5 Codex High, when I was using it on stream yesterday, the trade-off for the speed was not good because we were working on a very difficult feature. It took over 30 minutes to finalize, and then at the very end, it actually didn't work. So we spent 30 minutes working on a feature, and then that feature ultimately didn't work. So it was very frustrating. But with that being said, GPT-5 Codex Low, it's doing things fast enough to the point where, hey, look at what we've done. We've been able to create this platform tools. We have these pages for each. It's organized exactly how we want it. And now we're going to be working on our thumbnail generator. I think we started actually programming about 23 minutes ago. So I don't want the video to get too long, but this is just very raw, unedited. And I think that we should actually build this thumbnail generator on the video as well because it's worth it. I'm not a content creator, and that's something to remember is that I don't view myself as a content creator. I view myself as a vibe coder, and I would be doing this regardless if I had the camera on or not. And the main reason that I have the camera on is because I want to share it. I want to, things are getting to the point where I'm tired of hearing people that are hating on vibe coding. I'm tired of people saying that, essentially AI is never going to replace programmers. I get it. You shouldn't even be debating these things. I think that if you try and debate these things and argue about them and make points, etc., you know what ends up happening? You end up getting left behind because there was that one guy that didn't try and debate, that didn't try and make his point, and that was just trying to make the most of the tools that he had. And that guy is going to win out. And I want to be that guy. I want to be that guy that at whatever stage that we're at, I'm able to adapt, I'm able to learn, I'm able to try my best, I'm able to grind and do whatever it takes to succeed. And that's what I think we're doing here. So let's see here. There is an error that it had. It looks like it's the import badge for this icon here. So let's drop this in and have it fix it. Please review this error that I have and fix it. Maybe it was a refresh error. Maybe it'll catch it. Who knows? Could potentially catch it. Let's see. Yeah, did not. So it's still working, but still has not caught it. I wonder if it will catch it. Okay, it didn't catch it. That's very interesting because that's a simple lint error, you know? Simple lint error that it didn't catch. All right. Yeah, so still. Okay, so how do we want to actually do this thumbnail generator? To start, let's not do anything in the database. Ultimately, we will most likely have to do something in the database so that there is a job history so that you can pull up previously worked on thumbnails. So for example, let's say somebody creates a thumbnail. You want them to be able to go back and access that thumbnail. You don't want it to be like just like a one short-lived conversation. So I know that we're going to need to do that, but just for this video's sake, let's just get MVP level functionality working. The build was breaking because of the new thumbnail. Okay, so it says that the error should be fixed. I didn't see it update any code though. Let's see here. What the heck? I'm still having this error. Why did you not update any code? Please fix this. So a miss there. But I will say, I like the UI. I like the functionality. It's looking good. So now something that we can do, which is cool, is we can actually try out the terminal. So I'm going to say, take a look at the, I just want to make sure, okay. All right, so I'm just going to type this. I'm going to say, take a look at the YouTube thumbnail generator page here. I now need you to build an API endpoint in a new module called YouTube Tools, and this module should use the FAL AI integration that we have to accept a prompt and create 3 thumbnail options based off of the user's prompt using Nano Banana. The aspect ratio should always be 16:9, and the model should always be Nano Banana. Oh wait, this is high, so there's no way that we're gonna, all right. There's no way that we're actually gonna get this feature done. Let's see if it did fix this. It looks like the thumbnail generator is pulling another. It's saying that the issues are done, but I don't think they are because, okay, there we go. Oh wow. Guys, wow, check this out. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Wow. Okay. It did make it a little bit too complicated. All right. We're going to have to split this into like 2 separate videos. But you guys can see, I think this gives us enough of a feel for Codex. I just don't want the YouTube video to get too long. But definitely, I am very impressed with what we did. Just in 30 minutes, because we started like 5 minutes in, we were able to create the platform tools. We were able to create pages for YouTube, X, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and then we were able to actually create the page for our YouTube thumbnail generator. And we'll work on the logic in maybe tomorrow's stream, but definitely I'm very impressed. And honestly, I think that the UI here is actually better than what Cursor would have done. So guys, we may need to start to adjust and to listen to Sam Altman and use that GPT-5 Codex. But let me know what you think in the comments down below, and have a great rest of your day, guys. Thanks for watching.